very good morning to you. Welcome to my thought for the day. We're looking at some verses in chapter 21 of Luke, when Jesus begins to foretell things that are going to happen in the future. Now, all of these future, what are called eschatological passages, are very difficult to put together. They're a bit like Old Testament prophecy. When you look at Old Testament prophecies, there's a little bit about the coming of Jesus, and then there's a little bit about the end times, and then there's another little bit about John the Baptist, and it's all mixed up. And I think that's true of the discourses about the future. But when we look at verse 3 and 4, and then at verse 20, let me read them to you. And as some spoke of the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, he said, as for these things which you see, the days will come when there shall not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. And verse 20 says, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation has come near. So part of his foretelling was about the destruction of the temple and the fall of Jerusalem again after a rebellious time by the Romans, which actually happened in AD 70. The Emperor Titus, the Roman legions under Titus actually came to Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was severely damaged, and the temple was destroyed. And this was not Solomon's temple. Solomon's temple was built years and years before, and then it was destroyed when they went into exile at the end of Kings, and then it was rebuilt after, when Cyrus sent them all home from exile, and the temple was rebuilt. But that temple had fallen into disrepair and been damaged over the years, and Herod had built a new temple, and it was beautiful. It was magnificent. It was almost a wonder of the ancient world. It was a glorious temple. It was built by Herod to try and gain the favour of the people that he'd been placed over by the Romans to rule. He was an Edomite. He was not a true Jew, and he tried to establish himself on his actions in the face of the Jewish people, and this was Herod the Great, who was on the throne when Jesus was born. And the temple was magnificent. It was beautifully built. It was wonderful. And Jesus tells them that there will come a time when there won't be one stone on top of another. But immediately, when they say, well, when is it going to happen? He could have said, well, it'll happen in AD 7, it'll happen in 50 years, or whatever it was, what it would be, 40 years. In 40 years' time, and most of them would have thought, well, it's not going to happen in my lifetime, so it'll be all right. But Jesus never gave specific dates or times, because they're variable from one part of the world to another, and from one generation to another. The chronology has changed, and the understanding of it has changed over the years. But his warning is not to focus on what might happen and when it's going to happen, or what is going to happen and when it's going to happen, and what order it's going to happen in. Don't focus on any of that. Do not focus on any of that, but be careful not to be led astray, to stay faithful to the gospel and to Jesus, whatever comes. And that's my thought for the day. That's what we have to do. We have to stay faithful to the Lord, whatever comes our way, whatever difficulties suddenly arise. And we faced some, haven't we, in the last few years. It was a real challenge, the lockdown, a real challenge. It changed everything, didn't it? It stopped churches meeting together, but we found ways to meet. We found ways and means to meet and keep in contact and encourage each other in the faith. That whatever comes, we need to keep focused on Jesus, not be distracted by what's happening around us, not be worried by it. We after all, of all people on this earth, we who belong to Jesus, we have an eternal security. We don't have to worry about what might happen to our physical bodies. You know, we have an eternity, and we will have a new body given to us when we rise. So we don't have to worry about any of that. But it's easy to get distracted, to get caught up in, oh, this must be a sign Jesus could come tomorrow, or this might be this. I think this fits in. I mean, down through the years, I've studied a lot of church history. Almost every religious leader or every big leader of the world was thought to be the Antichrist. Um, and they were wrong each time. And how many times have you heard of somebody saying, oh, the end of the world is going to come on the 5th of March 2020, and then they get past that date and they're embarrassed because it didn't happen. Only one person knows when it's going to happen. That's God the Father. And he didn't even tell Jesus the exact date. Jesus said, the Father knows, I don't know. You know, what is more important, much more important, is staying faithful in our walk with God as the days continue. Whatever comes our way, whatever the latest political crisis, the latest pandemic, whatever it is, stay faithful, stay focused, don't be distracted. The truth is all here, and when it does happen and has happened, we will, just as we did with the Old Testament, we will understand which bits were about which part of the second coming, because I think just like the coming of Jesus covered 33 years, so some prophecies applied to his birth, some to his life, some to his death. But they did not all happen at once. There was a period of time when the first coming of Jesus was achieved, and I think there will be a period of time over which the second coming of Jesus happens. All the things that are prophesied won't all happen at the same time or within 24 hours. I don't believe that at all. I believe there will be a significant period of time, and when it happens, we will see that everything that's prophesied in this wonderful book will come true, literally. That's enough for me for today. Have a great day. God bless you in everything you do, and guide you and direct you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.